Hi, today I'm going to show you how to stencil, similar to what I have on this mug. It's a combination of stenciling and slip trailing. So I use these little stencils that I've created with these paper punches that you can get at any craft stores. Pretty quick and easy way. So what I do is I wet, this is a leather hard piece. I wet, this is just regular printer paper. I get a lot of the moisture off on a towel and then compress it down. Then I follow up with a red rib and compress down. So I'll be using colored slip. So none of the colored slip will seep underneath the stencil. And so I just create a random dot pattern on the surface. Put several of these on first so you can see how it's done. Don't forget to use the red rib to compress down. So I just take my finger and wet the clay down a little bit. You can't add wet slip to a bone dry pot. It will just crack off. So you need the moisture of the leather hard clay to have the stencil bond to it in the slip itself. Sometimes I like to try to take the stencil and have part of it coming off the top edge and the bottom edge by the foot. And if I don't like the way I positioned the stencil, I can just take it off and apply it somewhere else if the spacing isn't quite right. Okay, so I have several of these stencils attached. For slip, what I use is just, it's not what it says on the jar, it's just a random container. I use the porcelain slip it's the same clay that I throw with, and I just collect the slip out of the bottom of the container and mix it up to a milkshake consistency, and then I add mason stains to add different colors. Sometimes if I don't like the intensity of the slip, I'll readjust it and add more mason stain. So I'm just going to go on each of these and apply a little slip. Usually I need to apply this probably about 2 coats, because otherwise if you don't give enough coats of slip, you can see the color of the clay body underneath. And they really don't take that long to set up. So I'll apply 1 coat, wait a little while, and then come back through and add another coat. So I'll go ahead and apply a few more stencils while these set up. This is not a technique that I picked up on my own. This is from a friend and a potter, Meredith Host. I picked this up from her. She and I attended the Kansas City Art Institute together, and a couple years ago I saw her do a demonstration in Kansas City at the Kansas City Urban Potters, and she was demonstrating this technique. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty cool, and it saves time than trying to hand paint each circle on its own. Apply some slip here. I'm going to go back and apply a second coat to this first round. And these are one-time use only, so I just throw them away when I'm done using them the first time. So, done 2 coats. And then you just slowly take these off. The nice thing about slip is if you don't like what you've done, you can just simply scrape it away and do it over. So there you go. Then what I could come in and do, I would want to let these set up a little bit, is I create a little bit of slip trailed edge around each stencil. Kind of creates, the slip trailing creates this raised texture. Kind of nice to run your finger over it. So I have this little guy. It's a porcelain slip. Again, it's the stuff that collects in the bottom of my bucket. I mix it up with a hand blender to about milkshake consistency. And you have to test it. The only thing I don't like about these is that they tend to clog. So sometimes these syringes will come with a little metal piece that you can unclog the tip. Sometimes I will just take a twist tie and take the plastic coating off of it, and so I already have a piece of metal that I can unclog this with. So now I'm going to come along the outside of each one of these. I'm going to get these stencils out of the way. So for the syringe, you want to hit the slip down into the tip, otherwise you can create a little air bubble. So I just go around each one. And then I'll wait a little while and do the little accent in the center of the dot. So occasionally you'll want to stop, shake the slip down into the tip of the metal syringe. Depending on the consistency of the slip, sometimes these little dots come out where they're more pointed. I will wait a little while until they're not so wet, and then I take the tip of my finger and press them down, so to sort of subdue that edge so it's not sharp. If you make a mistake, just wipe it off. And this blue slip has set up enough that I'm not wiping it away if I do have a mistake. Getting there. Sometimes I have to put my hand on the inside of the pot. So reposition my hands. Almost there. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Thanks for watching.